Hello everyone, we are Geeks Not Nerds. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
And today Eric and I are going to talk about a thing that Eric doesn't even know about. I have not told you ahead of time what we're talking about today.
Surprise is the spice of life. A lot of people think it's variety, those people are wrong.
Well,
they're the phones, I tell you!
This one I'm sure will be a letdown.
I'm doing all of this into my British voice.
Sounds great.
The line is drawn here, no further!
This far, no further! And I will make them pay for what they've done! Today we're not going to talk about Patrick Stewart, or British actors, or Star Trek.
Yes, to another portal. Anyways.
The first window, the first doorway to a new dimension, one greater, one more wondrous than our own! No, just the first window of the drive-thru, sir. Yes, and it is with heavy heart that I drive to this window of which you speak. Anyway, I will have a quarter pounder with cheese! So Eric, today I want to talk about...
Patrick, lighten up!
Eric, I want to talk about YouTube.
Okay.
Today's topic is the state...
The tube of you.
The state of the platform that we broadcast on.
Okay.
I'm sure long ago, Vince and I probably sort of did this topic, just talking about how we felt about YouTube and its rules and regulations and you know, things that new things they were implementing and things like that. It's changed quite a bit since the last time I talked about this, and I wanted to talk about both ends of it. So as content creators and as viewers, how do we feel about the platform, and is it better than it used to be, or is it worse than it used to be? And what do we think the future is of it? Because of course people are constantly asking that question. Like, are we going to see other platforms kind of, you know, rise up and go up against it? Or is it going to get more competition at some point? Is it going to get to a place where people finally start leaving it because it's not as lucrative as it used to be? We're in a weird limbo right now with YouTube ever since Apocalypse, and that's lasted like, what, a year and a half now? Yeah. So where are we and where are we going with this?
I can describe where I think YouTube is right now with a single metaphor.
Okay, go ahead.
YouTube is a racing horse that's broken its leg. Interesting. It is waiting to be put down.
Do you think it's that bad?
I think for content creators it is.
Do you think that...
Looking at what happened to our revenue, I guarantee you there are people that quit their jobs to do YouTube full-time.
That are going back to work now.
That are going back to work now.
Yeah. Well, I know for sure that's the case. I know some of them. I've talked to a few people that have had to do
I don't think YouTube is... Unless you are, like beyond the stratosphere, unless you have, like, 1 million+ viewers, I don't think... Either A, I don't think you can live on it like you could have before, or B, you can live on it, but it is not what you're used to. It's not what your new comfortable was.
Yeah.
I think about it a lot with a lot of the bigger channels, where I'm like, oh, like, you're probably... Like, they're making more money than I am. Like at my real job.
Yeah.
Like they're making more money than me, surely. They can live on it, but it's not what their comfortable was before it, and I guarantee you whatever expenses that they have not lowered.
Well, I think it's a little bit
more
channel expenses. I think it's a little bit more complicated than that.
Okay.
But before I get to that, I want to go back to your metaphor, because where the racing horse breaks down, where that metaphor breaks down, the racing horse broke down. Where merry-go-round broken down. Where that breaks down is when the racehorse can't ride anymore, he's just done. YouTube could tomorrow fix all of this.
That's true.
There's so much they could do to just put it back where it was, but there are a lot of reasons that they won't do that. But like, they've put things in place where they've kind of tied content creators' hands behind their backs in favor of advertisers and companies, both in, like, advertisers not wanting their ads on things that they deem to be controversial or offensive, and so we block a whole lot of videos that those advertisers wouldn't even find to be offensive, but that it's just easier to do all of this with bots, to do it, you know, automatically, instead of having human beings go in one by one, which I understand is a difficult thing to do, but we kind of made a mountain out of a molehill with this, where it was a couple of isolated incidents, and they turned it into an impossible platform to make money on the way we used to. And then, of course, there's the constantly, forever increasing problem of copyright flags and copyright blocking.
Which are also done with bots.
which are also and always have been. Yeah, I said blocking flags and strikes. So the reason I say it's more complicated than that is because you do have the biggest YouTube content creators, I would argue, are making as much or more as they ever did, because Patreon has saved them. So
that's true.
We don't make money the way we used to. It doesn't mean that we've necessarily lost money. Most of us have. But what it means is we've lost the ability to make money in the way we used to. So you can't rely on ad revenue like you used to, because the RPMs are just not what they used to be. I think for a lot of us, they're kind of down to half. And there are and a lot of people who make, I don't have this problem, but people who make, now my ad revenue is down at least half of what it was. So for a lot of people, it was more like 80 or 90%, because not only did the RPMs go down, but they also no longer were able to monetize political videos at all. So if you have particular keywords, if you say Trump in a video, you're not, like I just said Trump. This video might not be monetized now. You know, I'll say it 2 more times. I'll say Trump, Trump, Trump. Let's find out. Let's see what happens. President Donald Trump. Let's see. Let's see if let's see if I get
all those poker channels that they're like, this is your Trump card. Oh no!
And if there's a dude named Donald at the table, they're sunk. That's it. But anyway,
Donald,
so
your Trump card.
What I'm learning is that a lot of the really big, we're talking like 500,000 million subscriber channels or more, they're doing as well as they ever have.
Oh, okay.
A lot of them.
Okay.
Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them, because people came out of the woodwork to support them. So for Patreon. So they find out, okay, they're not making money the way they used to, and then you give incentives like we do.
Yeah.
You give Patreon perks, and then people come in and support them. So you and I are doing way better than we ever used to on Patreon because of new perks that we put into place, and possibly some just because people realized. Because I make videos. I talk about this in videos. That we can't monetize as well as we used to, and our ad revenues are down. And if there's any way you guys can help us keep it up, it helps us to be able to continue buying things for review and to keep the channel going. And,
okay, but not stuck inside baseball too much.
And then the question becomes, how long is that going to last?
Well, but not just that.
Yeah.
But Patreon, especially with the incentives. You now have more incentive to do the incentives for Patreon, because that's where you're getting paid. You're not getting paid for your main content.
That's exactly right.
And a 100,000 viewed video is not what it used to be.
It's not, yeah.
So you're no longer incentivized to actually make the content on the platform that you're using.
No, that's exactly right. Except to get people interested that might help you out in the first place.
And that feels so weird.
So if you stop, if for instance, and yeah, I'm with you, like not too much inside baseball, but I don't mind saying Superhero Rewind is the bread and butter as far as view counts and subscribers. It's not monetarily.
Not anymore.
For the channel, because ad revenue is not the main breadwinner anymore. Breadwinner. It's not Superhero Rewind's not the main breadwinner anymore. Ads are not the main way that we make money now. So on our channel. The main way that I don't mind telling people this. The main ways that we support the channel are through Patreon and through Super Chats, which is part of the reason that I've made the Captain Logan show once a week, and why I've considered doing it twice a week, because it's been relatively popular for us and people really like it, and it's helping our bottom line. So I don't mean to make everything just about the money. Both of those things are working in tandem. People seem to like it, and it's helping my bottom line. So I'm making content for you guys. I'm doing it because it's fun. It's also a business, you know. I mean, it's what I do. It's my job. So that's why I'm considering maybe adding another show at some point. I just put out a poll to see if people would be interested in that. I don't want to oversaturate it if there's no interest. But it was like a 70-30 split. Most people like that idea, so I'm considering it. But yeah, so it's so. As you say, like, that gives me more incentive to do the things specifically for the patrons, and then that can change what the content on a channel ends up looking like. So I gotta find that balance, because I don't want to not make a Rewind, because then the people that came in the first place that wanted to support me maybe wouldn't be there. And also, I don't just do this for the money.
Yeah.
And I like doing Rewind, and people want that show, and so I don't want to make it just about that. But you're right, and I'm sure a lot of other channels are kind of facing that, where it's like, well, maybe I have to change how I make content because of what keeps the food on my table.
Yeah. But and I'm seeing channels doing things that I don't like.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm not gonna name names, but there's a channel that talks about Dragon Ball Z a little bit. Who's kind of tied to Dragon Ball Z, and they've got a bunch of videos on different topics about Dragon Ball Z, and I tried to watch some of them. They're all like 12-minute videos. 3 ads. An ad at the beginning, an ad in the middle, and I think another ad before the actual end of the video.
Yeah.
I can't deal with that. 12 minutes? I can't deal with that. It's some of them were like 8 minutes. Can't.
If it's like an hour-long podcast...
That's different.
And you put it, like, at a good stopping place, okay, like, I can live with that.
Yeah. And people are doing things like this to counter the ad revenue thing.
Yeah.
I just, as a consumer, I'm not okay with that.
And you're liable to lose people over that.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to strike that balance, to figure out how to, keep being able to make a living.
And when you do things like that, it's hard to complain about people who have the ad blocker.
Right. So, So I want to get back to the question of how will YouTube survive? Like, will YouTube survive this, and for how long, and what exactly it's going to look like in the future? Because if Patreon continues to help people make up for it, it might limp along better than you're thinking. Is what I'm saying.
Only unless a major competitor doesn't come up, and if someone's
where
smart,
you can make money with ads again.
They will, and then you'll make double the money.
And especially if you can figure out a way to do it where you don't have the copyright flagging that you do on YouTube. If somebody can find a way to get around that, YouTube is done.
If someone was smart, they would look at YouTube as limping along, and what's the Doctor Who thing? They're looking old, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think YouTube could turn around. I think there's a very strong chance another game will come into town and do it better. They'll go, okay, these are all your problems. I can fix that.
But Google,
I'm going to start that way.
But Google is so powerful, and that makes me wonder if that's part of why we haven't seen anybody really come up and try yet.
That's true. That's true.
Because you've got some smaller players that have different models. You got like VMO and places like that aren't hard to get on. I don't know how hard it is to get on that, but it looks pretty easy. Where you have where the model seems to be more about renting and buying. Than it is about like having ad revenue and that kind of thing. But I don't think that would ever displace YouTube.
No, I don't think so.
That's kind of just another Amazon Prime or Amazon streaming video or whatever.
That YouTube has right now is brand recognition.
Yeah.
All videos are YouTube.
That's right.
It's the Band-Aid thing.
Yes.
And
it's the Kleenex thing.
Yes. And once you have that, it is very hard to shake that.
Yeah.
So that's good for them as a company.
Yeah, you'll never see it on Twitter.
Yes.
Because we tweet.
Yes. And you'll
never see another Google because we Google.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, people on Facebook, when they repost, they refer to it as retweeting. Like.
And they repost on Facebook.
Yeah.
Which is a bigger company.
Yep. No, once it's part of kind of the vernacular. It'll be interesting if YouTube goes away and we keep calling things like that.
And how long would that last?
Yeah. No, I don't know.
But so you think something really is going to give at some point? Something needs to change?
I do. I think right now YouTube. I think YouTube's policies are unacceptable. Now we don't do politics, but specifically for political videos, political channels on whatever side of the field that they're on, I think the idea that you can't make videos discussing topics without them like turning the video's AdSense off I don't like that, and I also don't like that they can turn that off without telling you. They don't have to inform you that they've done stuff like that. I think YouTube, much like Twitter and Facebook, is a very weird thing because it's not actually censorship because they own it.
Yeah.
And so that becomes a weird thing.
Government censorship. It is censorship. But
yes.
It's not a legal issue.
Yeah. It's an ethical issue.
Because people like to immediately say First Amendment. Well, it's about the principles of the First Amendment, but it's not a First Amendment issue in the same way it would be.
You're speaking on their platform.
Yeah, exactly. And they as a private company, certainly should be allowed to have whatever rules they want, and in a perfect world, if the rules were stupid, it wouldn't work. But the problem is, as you say, brand recognition, and they're too big, and they've been around for too long.
Well, the precedent's been set for about 70 years. The what's the telecommunications organization? The NPAA?
I think so.
Okay, so they are a non-elected branch of the government that amongst themselves decided that the First Amendment is not held up in radio and television. You do not get free speech on radio and television.
Yeah.
We've had a 70-year precedent for things like this.
Yeah. And of course, there are different rules for different people.
Yes.
And that should be said.
And
this video is political enough. It probably won't. I'm interested to see if this video gets demonetized.
Yeah.
Just on the principle of it.
I mean, we're being critical of YouTube if they notice.
Yeah. Yeah. It should. Yeah. Based on the things I've seen, this should be demonetized. It'll be interesting to see if it is. But I'm not losing much money because you can't really monetize as well as you used to be able to. So I'm not that worried about it. I'm doing an experiment right now.
And we're a completely clean channel. And we're not a political channel.
No, that's right.
We shouldn't be hurting at all.
I've only had it happen...
We don't swear and we don't talk about politics.
I've only had it on a couple of videos. And, well, you know what, though, now that I say that, I don't think any of the After Darks have ever been demonetized. Because, yes, they're unlisted, but you can still monetize them.
Interesting.
And I think they're all still green. And if you think about some of the stuff we've talked about on those...
Oh, absolutely.
And some of the things we've said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you want to know some
quick
of those
plug
things...
for Patreon, yeah. But...
If you want to find the skeletons in our closet and stop us from running for office.
But what I mean, yeah. So I want to apologize to all of our patrons for the fact that there's no Patreon tomorrow. No, but I was just going to say the reason I mention that there's a different. What I mean by, I should say, there being different rules for different people is that if you make YouTube enough money, if you're big enough, if you're popular enough, different rules apply. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if that's true with the political thing.
Well,
I don't know if there are million subscriber channels that can say just whatever they want to and they don't get hit because they make YouTube a lot of money, but that does seem to be the case when it comes to copyright.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
And the question is, at this point, almost at this day and age, we're what, 12 years into YouTube now. At this point, how do you even get there? How at this point can you get started as a startup? Mm-hmm. Can you, like, YouTube is unfortunately, and I'm not saying you don't still have overnight successes, but YouTube is starting to look like a lot of other startup businesses in just this country. It's difficult to have the American dream thing, right? Where if you start up now, you're going to get copyright flagged up the wazoo if you use any footage or still, even sometimes stills. I got flagged for stills on Superhero Rewind. That's why I can't use them anymore, and Superhero Rewind has become a glorified podcast. Now, you might say, I wanted to bring this up too, you might say, well, Cap, if you're not making a lot of money with the ad revenue, and most of the way you support the channel is through Patreon now, is through donations, why don't you just bring back the stills and hope that you grow up the channel enough that people will continue to help you out?
Because the views can get blocked straight.
They can get blocked. So if you can't see it, then I'm going to be upset that I spent 15 hours making it. Mm-hmm. And that's the reason. I would take that, Eric. Mm. If it got to where the only thing they could do to you is give the money to the people that own the stills, fine, I'd bring the stills back. Or I would consider bringing the stills back. But I've had too many videos that just leave, that can't even be seen anymore.
I personally don't like that YouTube has become just another platform for corporations.
I know. And it's been that way for a very long time now.
And corporate shills and these people that were hired by companies to talk about topics for like 10 minutes. I really miss YouTube being a bunch like people in their basement, making things. I miss that.
And it was about self-expression.
Yeah, because...
And we pretend like it still is, but it's not. It's like yes, but.
Most of the channels that are larger channels are that. They're clearly, like, you look at their first video, and it's well produced. It's not like these people just know what they're doing. Like, they're backed people. It's almost like stacking the deck. No one could ever do what I did. No one could ever do what I did now. Where you just talk into a crappy mic and like there's an expectation now. And I think that's disappointing. I think it's very hard because the whole reason I started was just because, and I know a lot of people still have this. I didn't have anybody to talk to about the things I liked. And so I wanted to talk to people about the things I liked, and there wasn't a lot of people doing comic books when I started. And you can't do that now. Because there are now major comic book channels, and people aren't going to take a chance watching a video of some guy talking for 20 minutes with just a picture of the book that they're talking about.
And yeah, a lot of them look really commercial. You know, a lot of them look really, really corporate. And I'm not saying that some of that's not good material. I'm just saying that, like, this is a place for, like, independent people.
It should be.
Like, yeah, and now, I think it would be disingenuous to say that there aren't still people who are pretty successful just blogging. I think that still is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you just still see plenty of people that don't look like they built a set that are in a basement. I mean, I think you just still see that. But you don't think that it's as easy as it used to be.
I don't. I don't think it's as easy as it used to be. Especially with comics.
Yeah.
Comics seems to be the one... Well, I guess video games too, but there's enough video game things... Because you can just stream playing a video game, that's a little bit easier. Most people can do that.
You don't need a really professional setup.
Yeah.
And we're blurring the lines about what looks professional and doesn't because the technology's just caught up now.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you say a crappy mic, like, most of us could use our phones and you can't tell at this point. Like phone mics have gotten so good.
That's true.
I have done videos with a phone mic and people have not commented on the drop in quality because it just sounds decent. It doesn't sound as good as my other mic, but it's pretty close.
There's I think specifically with comics, I'm really sad for anyone that wants to make a comic book channel because I think most of the comic book channels are kind of bunk. And they feel rehearsed, and they feel like...
Now, I've not looked into this as much as you have, so I can't speak to it.
Absolutely not. And I'm not even saying that they're all, like, corporate shows. Like, I just don't think most of the comic shows I've looked at, personally, are that good. And I think it's disappointing.
Do you think they don't know their stuff enough, or you just don't like their format, or...
A little bit of everything.
Are they not...
It varies from show to show.
Are they not specific enough? Do you wish they'd be more in-depth?
I certainly wish they'd be more in-depth. A lot of them are very... These are the popular things. You know these things. Best Batman stories of all time. Death in the Family, Dark Knight Returns, everything Scott Snyder ever wrote, you know...
Now, this is almost a different topic, but we have talked about this, the notion that some people legitimately think that they are, like, experts or bigger aficionados on a thing than they are because they've not met people that are more into it than they are. Mm-hmm. So some of that might be genuine.
No, sure. But, it bothers me that those are the channels that have like hundreds of thousands of views, and those are the people that are just getting the comics are going to go watch those channels. And I feel bad for people who would do what I did when I started, where you're just talking about comics.
Yeah, because if they're good, they ought to be able to find an audience. Now, here's the thing we should talk about. Mm-hmm. I think we would be remiss in not bringing this part up. Mm-hmm. What should there be any difference though between a video and a podcast? Because what we effectively do now is podcasting, and we simply use YouTube as a medium, because that's where I've always been. Mm-hmm. And I started in video not because it was a thing I knew anything about. I mean, I was a writer first. I mean, I started in video because I thought the still thing was a cool idea, and I wanted to use that format. I wanted people to be able to see what I was talking about. Now, as I say, Rewind is a glorified podcast, and we have a video component because you can see us talking, but this is almost no different, and you guys will notice, especially these days, we're shooting for 6 or 8 hours at once when we do the Omnibus. I don't go in and add a lot. I don't add a lot of pictures, I don't do a lot of editing. This is very, very raw. What we do is really no different from a radio show that films their show and posts it.
And a lot of podcasts do that now, where you can go listen to the audio form, or you can go to their YouTube page and look either like this, or they're both just like Skyped in.
Yeah.
A lot of podcasts just also put themselves on YouTube.
So have we not blurred the lines quite a bit there, too?
I guess that's true.
Well, we are podcasting. That is essentially what we are doing. But we have a YouTube channel, and it affords us some other things. I do want to mention, because we've been talking a lot of negative on YouTube, and a lot of it is negative, and there's a lot of things that we're concerned about moving forward. But there are things that they've improved on that have gotten better. Sure. First of all, I can't live stream a podcast. I can live stream on YouTube.
That's true.
That is a thing I really enjoy doing, and that's become a really good thing for our channel. You can do it on Facebook and some other places too, but I think it's a good format. I mean, I think it's a good platform for live streaming. Something YouTube has stopped doing that they used to do that drove me crazy is every 3 to 6 months they would just completely change the face of it. They'd just monkey with what it looked like.
It hasn't changed in a while.
They haven't done that in a long time. And every time they would do it, they would call it an update, but they would gut a function. They haven't done that in a long time. Everything I could do 5 years ago, I can still do now. The last big thing and they've added some things. The last big thing they got rid of was video responses. And that was a long time ago. And I can't think of anything like that they've really gotten rid of since. So I appreciate that.
And that's his point too. I think the viewer responses also made YouTube feel more like. I feel like
I know I miss that too. It's not a community based thing like it used to be.
Yes. The big thing about YouTube going corporate at this point is it used to feel like community. It used to feel like anyone could come in and say things and connect and you. A channel with 30,000 views could do a video, and you could have 10 subscribers, and you could do a response video.
Yeah,
that was really nice.
It was. But they're starting to do things like they used to do really gimmicky things that they would pretend like was a big deal that weren't, and then gut something major. So like when they were gutting things, they added the like video trailer on the front of your channel, and you're like, big whoop-de-doo, I could have done that already, basically. Like, okay, thanks. You can choose whatever video is on the front of your channel.
I've never watched that trailer for anyone.
Yeah, I don't do it either.
Because I find them through the videos. I don't find a channel and then go see what they're about. I find a video.
I've never done that either. That I can
Who does that?
I don't know. I'd love to know. But they're doing things now like, for instance, they're rolling out and we're in the beta for it. I've done it once. I liked it a lot. They're doing premieres now. Have I told you about premieres?
No.
Okay, so I did one. I didn't even tell you about it. I forgot to tell you about it. I did this for the last omnibus.
Okay.
Not the entire omnibus, just the intro. They're doing a new thing called premieres, and the way it works is you take instead of posting a video live, you schedule it like you can, where you can like schedule the time that it posts. But when you schedule it as a premiere, and it plays the first time for everyone like a live video.
Oh, that's cool.
And you, as the content creator, are supposed to be there while it plays and interact with your audience in the text, and it puts in super chats.
Well, that's cool.
And you can talk to people through that, and if they really want your response, they can give you a super chat. And so you can use it as potentially a little bit of extra revenue, but it's also just a nice personal thing where it's like we're all watching my video together, and it's like it's a live show. Now, when I did it, it confused people because they were like, "The omnibus is live now." I'm like, "No, it looks like a live video, but it is pre-recorded." And so you get to have your cake and eat it too, where it's YouTube, but you can also treat it like TV now. I think that's really cool. I like it a lot. I want to do it with, cool. And I didn't do it with the last rewind because of when I ended up having to post it. I kind of want to do it with rewinds because people really like that show, and it might be fun. And that's a longer show, so it might be fun for people to like sit down with me watching it, and then like ask me questions while we're watching the rewind. Or they can be like, I think you're wrong about this, and that kind of thing. And I think that's cool features. So like, they're coming back with some decent stuff all of a sudden. And I guess I like that. I mean, like, they're not... Like, I'm still not happy with a lot of things about it, but I just want to say it's not all negative.
And do you feel like subscriptions are, like, useless now? Like, I don't get updates on things I'm subscribed to.
Do you not?
No.
So...
I know they have the bell thing now.
Ring the bell thing? Yeah.
Which apparently was because of Playco channels or something.
So, really? I didn't know about that.
That's what I've been told. I looked into it myself, I don't know, but I've heard that was because of channels they don't want you to see, and so they add the bell thing, and they can deactivate the bell. So if you're a channel that they don't like, they can make it so that you can click the bell, but it doesn't work. I don't know if that's true, that's what I was told.
There's so much micromanaging like that. They have a thing now where you can get flagged if somebody thinks that you're doing something bad or harming minors in a video. Have you seen that?
No.
That
makes sense, but feels like it would be very easily abused.
That's my worry about it as well, yeah. I mean, common sense, obviously. If somebody's hurting a kid in a video, I think the deal was this was happening.
Okay.
With some channels where they were exploiting their kids. And I don't mean in just having them on. I have my kids on sometimes, but I mean in like actually kind of doing something abusive in some way. But every time they do something like that, it makes me nervous because I'm like, but you guys do everything with bots. Everything's automatic. I'm afraid if Jason shows up in a video, they're gonna be like, oh, a kid, you're bad. I'm like, nah, he's just talking about Power Rangers, and it's no big deal. That kind of thing makes me a little nervous because they haven't always handled it well. But when they rolled that out, there was a thing that would pop up when you uploaded a video that said, "Are there minors that appear in this video? You should make sure that it follows our guidelines. Here's the guidelines." And every time they do that kind of thing, it makes me nervous.
Interesting. Yeah.
I have a confession to make. I've been doing this for almost 10 years, and I have never used YouTube subscriptions. Like, I've never used them. I have subscribed to channels because I want them to have my number. I mean, I want to help their numbers. And I have used that list to find channels that I know I like and look at their videos. I don't know, this is the confession part, I don't know what being pinged on YouTube is like. I've never actually looked at it that way. So I know that when I post a video, people are supposed to see it right away if they're logged in or whatever, or maybe they get alerts that show it. But I've never actually used that feature. So when people tell me, like, oh, I'm not getting your videos, I'm like, I don't know what it looks like. I don't, on your end, I have no idea what it looks like.
Well, when I scroll through YouTube, it just gives me, like, suggestions, right? Like, based on, like, other things that I've been looking at. So like when I'll plug Mr. Fusion, right? Like I always watch Mr. Fusion's Dragon Ball dissection videos the day they drop.
Yeah.
Those always pop up in my feed, but I don't know if that's because I'm subscribed to them or because I just always watch those. So when the new one drops, it shows up in my feed. I don't know.
Okay, so is there not like a separate feed? Because like, yeah, I get like videos based on things I looked at recently.
I don't know how to find it.
I see that, but people will see me immediately. And I don't know how they see that.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I assume that most people are looking at a thing I'm not looking at, because I'm not real tech savvy and I tend to be behind on things.
And so many things I'm subscribed to.
I'd like to think I'm not 10 years behind, but
so many things I'm subscribed to are from like 10 years ago. Like I was looking at one point I was looking at my subscriptions. I was like, I haven't watched them in a decade.
And I bet
are they still making videos?
Aren't even making videos. Yeah. Real quick, we went about twice as long as we usually do on this, but
it's a big topic.
It is a big topic. Do you have any final thoughts on this? Anything you want to make sure that gets said?
No, I don't think so. I would like to see YouTube be a more. It's the problem. The problem is, and this is just the big picture kind of thing, right? We both want to be able to make people to be able to make money doing this.
Yeah.
We also want them to be able to do whatever they want to make that money, and those two things. Well, the second money gets involved, you're no longer. It's the movie thing where people say, like, small budget movies, the studios won't interfere because once someone else's money's involved, you're at their whims.
Yeah.
That money's not coming from nowhere. The money's coming from the ad people. So the fact that the ad people are pulling out and they're suspicious and, well, yeah. Right?
Yeah, to some degree, what are you going to do? But again, a lot of that happened because YouTube didn't handle it right. Because they pulled the trigger on something too fast. And they're real quick to try to appease the as you say, the ad people, because that's their bottom line, of course. And so they overcompensated.
Yeah. Which is what they always do.
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, it's got to hurt them too. I don't see how it's not also hurting them.
And I mean, in retrospect, like, this happens every couple of years. With YouTube, there's always something.
Yeah.
Like, I remember early on there was not an ad-pocalypse, but like a content apocalypse, right? Where like if you use stills or pictures or videos, it was like they were coming for you. I remember that. Like, I remember that like 09.
Yeah, but we're not just talking about scares that are temporary and go away. Like, there's always a new normal. Like, it doesn't get better. You might, I mean, there might be a scare where you're afraid you're going to like get in trouble, and then it's just, oh, they're just not going to pay you, that kind of thing. But I don't think this gets better. I don't think suddenly in a year or two we're able to make the money we used to. I don't think that. I hate to say it. I don't want to be cynical about it. Does that ever get better?
Well,
I kind of doubt it.
Well,
because they would have to change their policy, and I just don't know if that's.
And I meant to say this earlier when we were talking about Patreon.
Yeah.
The problem with Patreon as an alternative revenue stream.
Well, that was a question I wanted to try to answer. How long does that last?
Well, the big problem with Patreon as an alternative revenue stream is it's now in the hands of the people watching, whereas before you could be subscribed to the big channels, the little channels, and everybody, and if you watch their videos, you were contributing to all of them.
You were helping them.
You have to physically make the conscious choice to support this channel or that channel. how long can that go on?
Yeah, especially because there's so many of us in competition, and also, and this is. I mean, I got to be careful here because obviously this is nothing against our patrons, and you guys are all amazing. Like, thank you so much for continuing to help us stick around, but and make as much content as we do. Because I'll go on record to say I wouldn't do the sheer volume I do if it weren't for some of that. I would still be doing this, but it's got to be lucrative enough that it makes sense for me to put in the time and effort that I do. It's that line between a hobby and a job, and I want it to stay more on the job side because I like doing this. But I would have to, prioritize things and go more to a hobby place if that backed off too much. And so, like you guys don't know how important it is and how much I appreciate it. But I do want to say, you have to consciously, as a content creator, try to keep the same mentality you did before, which can be difficult, because when you have patrons that you are making things for specifically, and those are the people that are keeping you alive, essentially, now they're your customers in a way they weren't.
Right. And people used to talk about that on YouTube, like you were subscribed to me, I'm not indebted to you.
You're not my
before
customer.
money was involved, I remember hearing YouTube people be like, I'm going to make what I want to make, and sorry if that's not what you want. Well, it's different when people are paying
to some degree, it's different now. I can still say that for folks that want to support us. If you don't like what I'm doing anymore, pull out. I still don't owe you anything except for what I've said I'll do. Right?
Yeah.
So, I'll make the content you like, and if I don't make it anymore, you don't have to give me money, of course.
Sure.
And I'm not entitled. You don't have to do anything. Of course. Like, you don't want to support me, don't support me. You supported me for 1 month. Thank you so much. You don't have to keep doing it. But if somebody gets on the $20 tier and they request something, I might be a little behind on those, but I have to eventually do that. And in that way, they're a customer, but not in the... I have to make regular content they tell me to because they're patrons. No, but I gave you $20 and in exchange you said you would review House on Haunted Hill or whatever. Well, I have to do that now because I said I would, but that's different. So they're your customer on a one-time basis or a month-to-month basis with that one thing. You know what I mean? We owe the $2 patrons Geekvolution After Dark because we said we'd do it.
Yeah.
And at the moment that we decide we don't want to do that show anymore, they can either stay, or for whatever it is we're giving them, or they can leave.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
We're not canceling After Dark.
We're not canceling After Dark. No, we have too much fun making that.
The last thing that goes.
And it's essentially. I mean, I appreciate you saying that. It's essentially just what Eric and I do together anyway. So yeah. Okay, that was somewhat long-winded, but I think a worthwhile conversation
I agree.
to have. Eric, what would you like to rant about today, sir?
Okay, so I remembered I have a different rant than the one I said earlier. I remember I came up with a rant earlier this week, so I'm going to go with that one, not the one that you're going to disapprove of.
Oh, but I was looking forward to the I'm going to disapprove of it rant.
I can do both.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm going to disapprove. You're going
Watch him in 3 weeks. I can't think of a rant. I have no more rants. I do 2. I'm done.
Okay. So the one that you're going to disapprove of is a what do you call that when we deal with the public? The job I have. What is that?
Customer service.
Customer service. It's a customer service one. And I don't think you're going to agree with me, but I don't care. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it now to all of you. If you are trying to return an item and you don't have everything you need and the person is being uncooperative, do not get angry. Please do not get angry, because guess what? For every one of you that's doing it correctly, there are 10 other customers that have come in and tried to do it incorrectly and are probably trying to get one over on the business that you're at. It really bothers me. Where it's like, I'm sorry, this is the policy, and they're like, but we have policies in place because it's that thing with the seatbelt law, right? Where it's like, it's there because so many people don't do it. I understand you're doing it correctly, but everyone else isn't. Or anything anti-theft. Return policies are there for a reason. They just are.
No, I don't disagree with that. I disagree with certain return policies.
That's fair.
But I don't disagree with.
And also, the people that are doing the returns are not in control of the policies.
Well, yeah, no, obvious, and you should know that. So, like, I have a customer's always right mentality up to a certain point, but like, you know, the rules are the rules. Also, I mean, those two things don't sound like they go together, but you have to find a harmony somewhere. I mean, it's the same thing I say to everything. If you don't like the return policy, you don't have to shop there. But no, I don't like return policies where you're not allowed to return something unless it's broken. I don't like that. I think even if it's just 7 days, I think you should be able to return anything for any reason.
Okay, I think that's fair.
Especially used. And you work in a place that sells used merchandise.
I do.
Not new necessarily. Like, I get that. I get certain items you've opened it. We can't sell it new now, depending on what exactly you did with it. Sometimes you can repackage things. It just depends on the place we're talking about and the items we're talking about. But no, I have fundamental issues with you can only return it if it's defective. I don't like that. But that's the only thing I would disagree with. I don't disagree with what you said, though.
Sure. Okay.
I just know what the store you work at. I know what their return policy is.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Okay. So, the actual rant I came up with a few days ago.
Yeah.
And this will fit with this video because it's kind of political.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So
we're already demonetized, so you might as well.
Yeah. So it's kind of a twofer thing. So it's voting season, right? Like the voting thing is coming up.
Right.
One, campaign videos need to stop. Because does anyone watch these and think they're getting informed? Like, because it's all that's been my YouTube ads, and I just look at them. I'm like, okay, so you're spinning or you're throwing mud. Those are the two things. You're spinning yourself to look bad, or the other person to look, or yourself to look good, or the other person to look bad. I know the second the video starts, whatever you say is lies. I'm not,
or I don't trust it. At the very least, I don't trust it.
Yeah.
The only merit they have is it tells me who's running, so I can go do research. That's the only merit they have.
But much more importantly, and this is the first year I've had this. I am now getting texts.
Like Claire McCaskill's a nitwit does not help me. I need to go find out if Claire McCaskill's a nitwit. That doesn't help.
I am now getting texts that are telling me who to vote for. And to every single one, I've gotten 3 of them.
Have you really?
I have.
I have gotten 2.
And they're all for Florida.
See, mine's all from Kansas.
And to every single one I've gotten, and I'm sure they're robots, doesn't matter, I have responded.
Take me off your list.
No. The fact that you have gotten my number and you think it is okay to text me like this, I will be voting for the other party. And then I block their number. I don't live in Florida anymore. It's not actually true.
Yeah.
But maybe if enough people do that, they'll stop. It feels very invasion of privacy to me, which it shouldn't, because when we all had landlines, they used to call us. It's not actually any different, but boy, does it bother me that I'm getting texts from just robots.
Yeah.
It feels not okay to me.
No, I don't like it either.
So yes, that's what I have done. Every time I get one of those texts now, I text back, because you have done this, I will be voting for the other party. And I've gotten for both sides too, so I don't know who I'm voting for.
I mean, I get the argument on the other side to some degree, which is because this isn't always even the people that are working their campaigns. Like, sometimes it's just advocates. Sometimes it's just people that really believe in the person that they think you should vote for. I get the argument that it's difficult to really know the facts, or that people aren't informed and people don't know who's running and people don't even know where they can vote or what what they're voting for, that kind of thing.
Sure.
I get that, but a line should be drawn someplace.
Also, must there be so many signs? They're just eyesores. And they don't take them down. They stay up for years.
Yeah.
So many signs. And the same signs, too. They're just...
Yeah, it's you'll see 40 signs in 1 yard.
Yeah.
You're like, I got it the 3rd time.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't... So that's my rant.
Yeah, I see who you're supporting. I get it.
You know the only time I ever really take notice of the signs is? If it's also the name of a famous person. Oh, hey, Tom Hiddleston's running for mayor! Way to go, Tom Hiddleston! You're really moving up! You're a real celebrity now. You were Kong.
You're a celebrity running for office. You're probably not a good choice, but that's maybe not always true. But
I mean, Jesse the Mind Ventura.
Anyway, my rant is not political, or that's timely.
Mine is kind of like it's about politics, but it's not political. I would say.
No, yours is a very get off my lawn kind of rant. Yeah.
I mean, most of mine are. Also, get off my lawn.
My rant, and I'm sure one of us mentioned this somewhere at some point, or it was probably me before it would have been you actually, but I feel like this came up on the channel somewhere. But anyway, my son this weekend was playing Mario 64 on the N64. We also have the update they did, or the update. We also have the other version they did on the DS.
We can play as Wario
and Yoshi. Where is the HD remake of that?
I would imagine on the DS.
Why is that? Yeah, but where's the HD remake of that? Why is this never happen? Is my rant? It's
has Nintendo done that for any of their games?
I mean, they did one for Star Fox 64 on the 3DS.
Okay. And they probably didn't do it for Mario 64 because they just done it on the DS. They probably didn't do it on the 3DS. I mean.
But dude, they did it on the DS like 6 or 8 years ago. I mean, like at least that one. Like, this is the thing people have been asking for forever, and part of the reason I bring it up, I think it was a year or two ago, there was a version that a fan was working on that Nintendo shut down.
Oh.
And if you're going to shut it down, you should make one. I think.
That's my Nickelodeon YouTube thing. For the longest time, Nickelodeon wasn't streaming anywhere, and they would shut down. People would post old Nickelodeon.
Fine, put it out then.
Yeah.
Stream it.
If I can get it legally.
Stream it or put it or get it on disc. Like, where is it? Because a lot of the time you're talking about stuff that you just can't watch.
Yep.
In any way, physical or otherwise. But Mario 64 is like this really beloved game that is still great and still playable, but there are things you could improve with it, and there's no reason not to, and it would sell like gangbusters. It has been it's been on Virtual Console before, which Virtual Console isn't a thing anymore, but like and they might put it on their streaming thing at some point on Switch. I think they're just doing that with NES games right now. But like, I would think that I would think people would buy that, and I really want it because I don't like the 64 controller. And going back to it, I really don't like the 64 controller. Like, I don't want to play Mario that way anymore.
No, it's awful.
I just don't like it.
It's one of the worst controllers.
And so I bring up the Virtual Console thing because, yes, there have been ways in the past to play that with a real controller. But we need to put it out again and make it not just a Virtual Console thing. It's something you have to put it on an old system. Like, Switch needs to get it. I'm
not sure if there's a... I don't think there's a Nintendo precedent outside of the Star Fox. But we're definitely doing this with other ones. We just did the Crash Bandicoot one.
Well,
Spyro's coming out.
But PlayStation's done it a lot.
Yeah.
And Hitman did it with their trilogy.
Metal Gear Solid did it last generation, which really annoys me because it's not in this generation.
We're doing it with Spyro in December or January. Yeah.
But I don't think Nintendo's done it. Not for consoles. They've done a couple of handhelds.
I don't think they have either, but that would be the place to start.
What you do is...
And I just don't know why they don't do it.
What you do is, because you can fit...
They're re-releasing all this Wii U stuff. They should go back and do this.
Because you can fit, like, pretty much everything before last generation. They did
that Mario Party thing.
Yeah. Well,
that was also on 3DS.
And it was also just games.
No, I know what it was. I mean, I know it was mini games, but it was still re-releases of some.
But because you can put, I don't know if you know this, like you can put like the entire PlayStation library on a PS3 disc.
Yeah.
Like I think all of PS2 might fit on a PS4 disc. Like near, like it's so small compared to what we use now. Remember, we used to put so many games.
PS2 had as many games as NES did.
Sure.
I don't think you're right about that.
But my point is, games are so much larger now. You could put out an HD remake or an HD collection that collects all of the Marios through Sunshine.
I know.
And you can include Luigi's Mansion, stuff like that. You could put all of that.
And also, we did it back on Super Nintendo. Why aren't we doing it now? So, I don't know. That's my rant.
And upscale. I mean...
I just want that.
And there's a couple... Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie really need an HD re-release on the Switch.
Yeah, Donkey Kong 64 could use it. And part of the reason I bring this up is because I think...
And where's the one that's all the Mario parties, right? Like, all of the Mario parties. Just put them all on one... Mario Party 1 through 8 or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't do it for the gimmicky ones, where it's like you had to have a touchscreen or you had to have...
Well, you wouldn't do
the Wii remote
ones,
You wouldn't do that, but
I thought the Switch was
ones,
motion control.
Yeah, I mean, you could still do that now, I guess.
Yeah, I would think.
I don't think people would.
But the Wii ones might be too large. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but what I was going to say is, I think they also whet people's palate for it with Mario Odyssey, because the Mushroom Kingdom lets you go back to the castle and it has that setup again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I mean, I'm not the only person that wants this. Like, that needs to happen.
Well, I mean, with 64, it would be cool if they just remade it from the ground up. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like with not because we do these HD remakes where we just kind of polish up the graphics.
But when I said that, I meant an actual straight up remake. I don't mean the Arkham City thing. I mean, yeah, do it from the ground up.
Okay, like the Kingdom Hearts remake.
Yeah, well, and like I think you could do an Odyssey scale one where it's not 120 stars. You make it like 500 stars, and you add stuff to it. Like put new levels in it and stuff. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Why the heck not?
Yeah.
Maybe the 64 now stands for the number of worlds you can go through.
At the very least, it would have been really cool if, because they've done this before, where they put old games in new games.
Yeah.
Like Animal Crossing, you could play both Zelda games. You could go to like an arcade console.
I think a lot of people were disappointed when that wasn't what Odyssey did with 64. Like,
that's what I was going to say.
People, when they went to the Mushroom Kingdom, wanted to be able to do that.
Wouldn't it be really cool if there's just one painting and jump in and it's just 64?
It would. That'd be great. The paintings in that you is a little lame. You jump into paintings and it takes you to bosses you've played already.
That's not a terrible way to do that. Like as like a boss. I guess not boss rush mode, but like that's not a terrible way to present that.
If you have to have it, I don't know why I have to play bosses I played already, but
people like that.
Do they really?
Yeah. I mean, boss rush mode is a big thing. I mean, that's not boss rush mode.
But it's not boss rush mode.
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, thanks a lot for watching, folks. This was a longer GNN, but like you said, that was a pretty broad topic. So we will see you again shortly. If you're watching the Omnibus, we're going to keep going, and we're going to go on to the Comic Vault. We're going to talk about the Constantine book, All His Engines, which this is based on, the new animated Constantine movie, City of Demons. And we're also, right after that, going to do another Vault on the, I want to say fourth volume?
Third. Fourth, right, you're right.
Of Ultimate Spider-Man, yeah, so we're going to talk about that, the Return of Green Goblin. Whatever that's called, I don't know what that story arc's called.
I think it's called Goblin.
Okay, cool, Goblin.
I'll look it up in between, but I think it's called Goblin.
So keep watching if you want to see that, and otherwise, thanks so much for watching this video. We sure appreciate it. Look forward to your comments. And in the meantime, I am Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
See you next time.